Don't be alarmed. This is not a wild bobcat. This is a Pixie Bob.
I think the Pixie Bob in general looks like a wild bobcat just rolled into your yard. And it has kind of a fierce look about it, but it's not fierce at all.
In fact, Travis Barker of the rock band Blink-182 adopted 2 of these affectionate felines. Many of these kittens with a bobcat appearance don't just use their paws like feet, but like hands. Almost 50% of Pixie Bobs are polydactyl, which means they have extra toes.
The average cat has 5 toes on the front feet and 4 toes on the back. With a polydactyl cat, they can have up to 7 toes per foot, a total of 28 toes.
This extra-toed feature goes way back in the Pixie Bob's bloodline. The first member of the breed was polydactyl, and that trait has been passed down. And so has their love of water. Some say this fascination with H2O can be attributed to their supposed wild nature, or their dog-like personality.
The Pixie Bob is essentially a dog in a cat suit. They like to be walked on leash, and they also tend to be the type of cat that greet you at the front door when you arrive home.
So how did these cool cats come to be? In 1985, a Pacific Coast breeder purchased a large barn cat with a bobbed tail and extra toes. It was mated with a neighbor's wild-looking spotted cat. The result was Pixie, a female cat with a distinctive wild appearance reminiscent of a bobcat, hence the name Pixie Bob. Today's Pixie Bobs have more than a few things in common with the North American bobcat, starting with their bobbed tail.
They have a shortened tail, anywhere from 1 to 6 inches.
And whether short or long-haired, these guys sport a thick double coat that ranges from tawny to ruddy brown, complete with muted spots. Here's where it gets really interesting. Pixie Bobs carry a primordial pouch that is lighter in coloring than the rest of the cat. This feature is normally seen in wild cats and allows flexibility in the stomach to store food after a large kill.
The Pixie Bob forms very strong bonds with their owners. These are wonderful, outgoing cats that really like being involved with the family.
And 6-month-old Tracker is no exception. He lives with his owners, Linda and Roy Martini, on their 70-acre ranch in Sandia, Texas. And there is nowhere he wouldn't go to be with his family.
Tracker got his name, obviously, because he is the polydactyl with those big feet. And I made the comment to Linda, I said, I bet you he can do some tracking, and that's where he picked up the name Tracker.
And he holds true to his name, because Tracker is always right there with Linda, Roy, and their 3 grandchildren.
Gotcha. The bond I have with Tracker is trust. So no matter what we're doing, he seems to go along with it.
Whether Tracker is indoors playing with the grandkids or outdoors cruising on the golf cart, this faithful feline is always eager to come along for the ride. Linda and Roy keep Tracker on a harness and leash, allowing him to safely explore the outdoors.
Pixie Bob has always been called the little dogs in disguise because they do walk on a leash.
But Linda and Roy couldn't have imagined how far Tracker would go just to be with them.
Didn't go fishing, Tracker?
Yes, that's right. Tracker is all aboard for the family fishing trip.
He's always watching the water, and sometimes he'll even jump in the water to cool down.
When they realized Tracker's love for water knew no bounds, the Martini family took it one step further, inviting this precocious Pixie Bob on a more extreme water adventure. Inner tubing on the Como River. Today is a typical summer day on the water for many, but for Tracker, it's a special event. Though Tracker isn't much of a swimmer, he takes to the tubes like a pro and quickly starts to soak in his beautiful surroundings in the comfort of Linda's lap.
You see a lot of dogs floating up down the river and all that, but that old cat just takes over the river. People swim over to talk to us and check us out.
Other tubers can't help but take notice of this laid-back kitty.
You are so skinny. I can't believe you like the water.
Okay,
extra toes.
Extra toes. Yeah.
That's called polydactyl. And he's a baby. He's on
After a hard day of play, praise, and paparazzi, Tracker does what any cat would do. He takes a bath. Tracker has proven to be one fearless water cat. It looks like there isn't any length to which this devoted kitty wouldn't go in order to spend quality time with his family. Whether the Pixie Bob is hanging out with you on the water or at home, you're likely to enjoy this social feline for a long time. Pixie Bobs are generally healthy, large cats requiring only routine health care. And grooming the Pixie Bob's coat won't keep you up at night. In general, Shorthairs require very little grooming, but be sure to monitor its polydactyl paws.
And it's something we see quite commonly with polydactyl cats is the overgrown nails, so you have to trim them every couple of weeks.
But if you're serious about bringing this dog-like feline into your family, be prepared to shower it with love, attention, and plenty of activities. To sum up, the Pixie Bob has few known health issues and tends to live a long life. It's a low-maintenance feline in the grooming department, but you should keep a close eye on its polydactyl paws. In a family, the Pixie Bob can get along with everyone. Just keep your friendly feline entertained. Yes, it may look fierce, but in happy homes, this charismatic kitty is as loyal as a dog. If you're looking to land one of these great house cats, you'd better buy a plane ticket.
The Australian Mist is essentially the national cat of Australia.
It hasn't really reached the rest of the world to any great extent.
A few select breeders have begun to introduce the Australian Mist in the United Kingdom. In the United States, there are currently no breeders and less than 10 registered Australian Mist cats. Surprising, considering their loving and outgoing nature.
They're a little bit like Aussies themselves. They have amazing personalities.
It's the first cat to have originated from the land down under. The breed's genesis was actually based on a very eco-friendly notion.
The idea was to produce a mellow cat that was happy to be kept indoors.
Debates over feral cats hunting Australia's wildlife inspired Dr. Trude Strayed to create a breed of strictly house cats. She began in 1977 using a foundation of 30 cats, primarily Abyssinian, Burmese, and domestic Shorthairs. The resulting breed was known as the Spotted Mist. However, in order to accept new coat types into the breed, in 1998, the more patriotic name, Australian Mist, was adopted.
The Australian Mist was bred to be great for the average household.
That perfect indoor cat was bred to enjoy people, possess a level temperament, and fit it all into an average-sized body. The Australian Mist is specifically designed to be a moderate-sized cat for a moderate-sized home.
The only thing that's not moderate about this cat is the amount of love that it can give you.
Another specifically tailored feature is their short-haired coat. It can come in a spotted or marbled pattern that can take up to 2 years to fully develop. And the coat's opaque look gives it an almost glossy appearance.
It has kind of a misty veil look about it.
The head of the Australian Mist is rounded and sports similarly rounded eyes, the color of which are primarily a shade of green.
It's a very striking-looking, handsome, regal cat.
And like any good companion, the Australian Mist can take interest in all of its owner's activities, including music. Studies have shown that cats respond to music in a variety of ways. In fact, a British study showed that music helps relax cats about to go into veterinary surgery. Some cats have been known to not only appreciate music, but to actually help musicians. Take a walk up the coast of the Isle of Wight in England, and you might just hear it for yourself. Elizabeth, Roberta, and Charlotte are growing up on this island off the British coast. They have a genuine love for music and desire to play.
I play the piano, the violin, and I've just started learning the viola. I feel I'm best at the piano because it's easiest to play. It makes me feel clever when I can play pieces, especially fast ones.
For years, the girls have been learning and playing a variety of instruments. But these talented teens have recently found another passion at home. They're 5 Australian Mist cats.
They love their cats very much.
I love them, and we all think of them as like our babies. They're very playful and very loving and sweet. They're very sweet.
Whisper, Breeze, Presto, Tootie, and Baccarini. 5 cats with varying personalities, but one common trait, their desire to be around the girls when they're playing their instruments.
They come and sit on top of the piano and just lie there and listen.
But even with the distractions of the busy household, the girls are always excited and ready to practice their instruments. Or are they?
I enjoy practicing very much.
I enjoy practice sometimes.
It's always fun, I promise. Yes, I do really enjoy practicing. I'm not kidding you. There have been times where I just say to my mum, I don't want to practice. Sometimes I'm a bit obstinate.
That obstinance has a cure, though. The very cats that you think would distract them from playing actually help the girls keep their focus. Every day when they sit down to practice, their biggest fans sit with them.
It makes me want to practice even if I don't want to at times. You know you've got to practice when they're around. I feel like that when they're around, they're actually happy to hear it. That's why they stay and help me along with it.
And they wouldn't have it any other way. A practice does not occur until the girls' best friends are in attendance. And sometimes the Australian Mists can't help but join in themselves. Today, the sisters are performing for a group of local residents, and no performance would be complete without their biggest fans in the audience. The girls are hopeful that all the practice with the cats will pay off in front of real people. Today turns out to be no exception, and the show is appreciated by more than just the audience. For Whisper, Tootie, and Baccarini, it's happiness in the music that the girls play for them. For the girls, it's a chance to share their passion with the animals they love so much.
I can't imagine what it'd be like if we didn't have those 5 silly cats to help with us all the time.
They're just so funny and loving. They're like my bestest friends.
The Australian Mist is a very healthy breed that can reach 15 to 18 years in age. However, like many homebodies, they do love to snack.
They can be prone to becoming obese.
So this is a cat that you really want to monitor how much food you're actually giving the cat.
Their prototypical house cat design includes a short coat that won't take up too much grooming time. With an outgoing temperament and a desire to be around people, Australian Mists will likely find themselves right at home in any busy household.
Very, very good with children, even young children.
In general, the Australian Mist is a very healthy breed, but it might need regulated feedings to avoid obesity. Their short-haired coat is not going to leave too much mess around the house and only requires an occasional brushing. They love being around people and are even great with children, making this breed an exceptional one for families. So if you're lucky enough to find a breeder, the Australian Mist might be a good family cat for your household.
The Exotic is a really striking cat.
It's the second most popular cat, trailing right behind the Persian.
The Exotic is a great lap cat. They're very easygoing.
And for that reason, these soft, sweet, round-shaped cats are affectionately nicknamed
The lazy man's Persian.
The Exotic is basically a Persian without the long hair.
This is a real quiet cat.
They enjoy hooking on to one person in the family for loyal companionship, and they'll graciously sit right in front of you quietly until you give them what they want.
It's impossible to not smile when you look at an Exotic. The Exotic Shorthair is a mixture between the Persian and the American Shorthair.
At first, they called the hybrid cat a Sterling because of its color. But the Cat Fanciers Association has ruled this fluffy breed should be called the Exotic.
The cat still is known in some circles as the Exotic Shorthair.
The Exotic is a medium to large-sized cat that is muscular and heavily boned. Males can weigh up to 14 pounds, while females are a little lighter, ranging between 6 and 10 pounds.
Kind of linebacker short neck and the cobbly legs and the muscular little body.
Its coat accentuates the cat's round shape. It's thick and plush and comes in a wide array of colors and patterns.
The coat is actually still very plush. It doesn't feel like a normal short-haired cat.
And its head is huge.
They do have a big head, yeah.
Round with a wide skull that sits on top of its short, thick neck.
They look like a little teddy bear because they have that little pushed-in face and the Big round eyes.
They've got fat little cheeks. They almost look like a Cheshire cat.
There are two distinctive facial types for the exotic, the traditional or the extreme. And it's the extreme that has a flatter and more pushed-in looking face.
As charming and cute as that very smushy face is, with that face also comes potential health problems.
Cassie and her fiancé Joe have 3 exotics: Walnut, Carruthers, and Fergie. And they all live here in Centerville, Virginia. Fresh out of college, Cassie and Joe moved in together and right away started their furry family.
I'm not ready for kids, but I'm ready for these exotics because they're just so cute.
Walnut and Carruthers are sisters, and Fergie is their biological mom. Cassie says while all 3 cats are extreme facial exotics, they also happen to be extremely different in behavior.
Well, Walnut is the most gregarious one, Carruthers is the tiny one, and Fergie is the more restrained and very dignified.
Yeah, your mama's a good girl.
Little did Cassie know that her 3 exotics would focus her life.
All throughout my childhood, my dad had taught me how to paint, but it was really the cats that inspired me the most of all.
Before Cassie adopted her exotics, she would mindlessly doodle images of inflated cats, just for kicks.
I had been painting these rounded cats, and I saw a picture of an exotic, and I thought, this is the cat that I've been painting. I have to get this cat. It was like a premonition. It was destiny.
Now, with over 20 paintings under her brush, Cassie's coined herself Kitty Cassandra and developed a following.
My painting these cats and selling them to other people is just my way of sharing the love of these cats. This is my Hall of Fame of all my babies. Well, first I sketch in pencil on the canvas, and then I paint in color, and then I fill it in more just to make everything pop.
The cats are her inspiration, and the scenes she paints them in have interesting backstories too. Like this first one, cat taking over a house.
Once I got the exotics, my first painting was a cat literally taking over a house. This is kind of what the cats do. They get all in your things.
And the exotic's crinkly, smushed face has inspired big paintings too.
This is Walnut, and she's the one who inspired me to do the big ones. One morning, I opened my eyes, and it was just Walnut's face just staring at me as I slept. And it kind of startled me, but it also inspired me into thinking what a great expression that would be if they're monopolizing your life and your field of vision is with a huge canvas.
And so the art, motivated by the exotics, is really a combination of cartoonish-looking cats and a quirky-minded painter.
I have kind of a quirky sense of humor. Yeah, I'm a little different, and the cats are kind of in line with me in that differentness.
Beautiful and cuddly and worthy of the canvas, the exotic can be prone to breathing issues. That's primarily because of its shortened face.
They can become pretty snuffly and snortery.
Every day if you take a little Q-tip, cotton ball, and you clean out those wrinkles, your cat's gonna be a lot healthier and a lot happier.
As for grooming, get your brush out. They have lots of hair and need weekly grooming.
Even though the coat isn't very long, it can still mat.
And while they don't mat up like Persians, they shed. And are they a good pet for a family? Yes, because they're so laid back.
They're just so mellow, and they get along with everybody.
So in general, because of the exotic smushed-in face, they can have health problems. They need to be groomed weekly. And they make good family pets because of their pleasantly calm personalities. This is the Munchkin, a cute cat that's a little vertically challenged.
The Munchkin's like the little wiener cat.
Named after the Munchkins and the Wizard of Oz, this kitty's abnormally short legs are the result of a naturally occurring genetic mutation that gives them more mobility than you might think.
The Munchkin moves like a ferret. They're incredibly quick and active on the ground.
The gene responsible for this dwarf cat's short legs is similar to the one that gives Dachshunds, Basset Hounds, and Welsh Corgis their short stature. But breeding Munchkins can be tricky business.
If you breed a Munchkin to a Munchkin, 1/4 of all the cats born to that mating will die.
Responsible breeders widen the gene pool to avoid fatalities or serious health problems. But while dogs with this dwarf gene can suffer from back problems, Munchkin cats actually fare much better.
The cats don't have the back problems that the dogs do because their spine is more flexible than a dog's.
In the U.S., the Munchkin was first popularized after appearing on the front page of the Wall Street Journal in 1995. The foundation for today's breed can only be traced back to 1983, though, when a pregnant Munchkin named Blackberry was discovered under a pickup truck in Louisiana. But there have been references to this short cat throughout history and around the world. This medium-bodied cat comes in a cornucopia of colors, patterns, and two main coat lengths. Some Munchkins have plush short coats, and others have silky long ones. But the breed's most obvious feature is its unusually short legs, which may be bowed and come in 3 sizes: standard, super short, and rug hugger.
I can only imagine how short the rug hugger's legs are.
My sweet girl, look how tiny you are. Oh.
This Munchkin is so little that her owner has to look where she's going.
This girl is small enough that when I get up in the morning and throw my legs over the bed, I might step on her.
If you look really closely, you'll find 2-year-old Fizz Girl at Flying Paint Ranch in Southern California. She lives there with her owner, Tiffany Childergard, and 8 horses, 3 dogs, 1 parrot, and a bevy of Munchkin cats. But to Tiffany, Fizz Girl is something special.
She will be the first one to come running up and drop on her side, roll over and put her belly up and beg you to scratch her.
Up until now, Fizz Girl enjoyed a simple life, but fame may soon be in her future.
I'm thinking she's gonna make it.
Tiffany believes that with Fizz Girl's exceptionally short legs and compact body, she just might have a shot at breaking the Guinness record of world's smallest cat. The current titles of smallest cat in length and smallest cat in height are held by a Himalayan Siamese mix named Itsy Bitsy, who measured 15 inches long and just under 4 inches tall. Measuring her fidgety feline is no easy task, but Tiffany thinks Fizz Girl's numbers are the ones to beat.
I think that she's going to be about 12 inches long and that she's about 4 inches or 3.5 inches tall.
Tiffany is a part-time Munchkin breeder. She first got the idea of submitting kitties' measurements to Guinness World Records when she posted pictures and videos of one of her other cats on YouTube. But that Munchkin grew too large and never got a chance to challenge the current record holder.
You might do a special baby.
Tiffany's been a Munchkin lover most of her life and insists she's not breeding cats to win Guinness titles. The health of her cats is what's foremost in her mind.
One of the guidelines that we use at Flying Paint Ranch is to never breed a Munchkin to another Munchkin.
With a little admin out of the way, Fizz Girl is ready to give Guinness a go. What she needs now is a qualified medical professional to evaluate her for real.
4.04 pounds.
Wow.
And now comes the real test. Does Fizz Girl have what it takes to capture a Guinness World Record?
And there's the bone right there, and I've got 24.5 inches.
Not realizing that the tail is included in the length measurement, Tiffany and Fizz Girl graciously accept the loss. But the title of world's smallest cat in height is still up for grabs, and this vet thinks she's got a shot.
Smallest adult cat as far as the height I've ever seen. Looks like 6.5 inches.
Wow.
Too tall.
Too tall. I really would have thought she would have been smaller than that.
Over 2 inches taller than the current world record holder, Fizz Girl is out of contention in a flash.
Unfortunately, Fizz Girl's height and length did not exceed the current Guinness World Record held by Itsy Bitsy.
Losing's always a low blow, but Fizz Girl will be just fine because she knows her mother loves her just the way she is.
You're not the world's smallest, but you're definitely the most beautiful.
If you're considering adopting a Munchkin, keep these things in mind. Seek out a reputable breeder, and you're much more likely to get a healthy kitty. Munchkins can suffer from some genetic problems, like lordosis, a dip in the spine in front of the shoulder blades that can constrict the heart, lungs, and trachea. Milder cases cause breathing problems or cardiac distress, but some cases are more serious.
This constriction, as the heart and lungs grow, it becomes a lethal problem.
But grooming these short-legged cats is a straightforward job. brush the short-haired varieties once a week, and the long-haired just a bit more.
You need to make sure that you keep their coat mat-free.
And these little creatures are not insecure about their height. Active and outgoing, they get along with everyone.
The Munchkins are great with children. They get along with other pets.
The long and short of it is that the Munchkin is usually a healthy cat when responsibly bred. The grooming requirements are average, and it fits in well in most families because it's a playful and fun-loving cat. Yes, the Munchkin is small in stature, but great things come in small packages. This is a Cornish Rex, elegant, expressive, and more than a little exotic.
Many people, the first time they see a Cornish Rex, would think that it looks a little bit like an alien, in a good way.
Radio host Robin Quivers owns Cornish Rex and gabs about them on The Howard Stern Show. Long and lean, Cornish Rex are often called the greyhound of the cats. Maybe that's why fashion designer Michael Kors has 2 of them. These striking felines look a whole lot like fashion models. Or Egyptian statues. But the Cornish Rex doesn't hail from Egypt, and it's not very old. In fact, it was just 1950 in Cornwall, England, when a farmhouse cat had a litter of kittens.
One of which was sort of orange and white and curly.
And the Cornish Rex was born. The result of a genetic mutation. The hallmark of the breed is its curly coat, which completely lacks an outer protective layer.
So when you pet them, they're very soft to the touch, one of the softest cats to pet.
And their naturally arched backs make their graceful bodies a study in curves.
You want to see a curve in the spine. If a Cornish Rex has a straight back, that's not right.
What's right are its large oval-shaped eyes and bat-like ears, which sit high on the breed's head. Cats can hear way better than humans, and even dogs. Cats have 32 muscles that control their outer ears and can turn in the direction of sound 10 times faster than the best watchdog.
Oh, look at that.
It's an early Tuesday morning on Manhattan's Upper West Side, and Wilfred and Merlin are ready for their close-ups.
They're almost like sculptures. They're so exquisite looking.
David Nutter is so, well, nutty about his Cornish Rex, he spends hours taking pictures of them. Sorry, David. But his passion for these delicate creatures goes way beyond photography.
I use them in my paintings because they're so expressive looking.
From Whistler's Mother to the Mona Lisa, David's made Wilfred, Merlin, and other Cornish Rex subjects of over 2,000 paintings. The playful idea came to him on a whim.
Somebody sent me some montages of American presidents put into women's clothes. They were very, very funny. And I thought to myself, well, I could do that with cats.
He first experimented with putting the cats into various colored backgrounds. But when he began superimposing their faces into famous works of art, he was hooked.
I couldn't stop. I mean, it was a total addiction. I would be up until 2 or 3 in the morning doing them.
A former photographic printer, David thrives on the creative process.
Oh, that's nice. Merlin, eyes are wonderful. Good boy. Oh, yeah, these are going to be good.
Getting his precious Rex to look into the camera requires patience. But 4-year-old Merlin is a former show cat and eventually strikes a pose.
Oh, that's fabulous.
While David downloads all the images to the computer, Wilfred and Merlin oversee their best friend's work.
Do you think the pictures will be good of you? What do you think?
Once he's selected a piece of art, David searches for a Cornish Rex face whose expression best matches the person in the painting.
Let's see if I can find one that I took today. Looking mean. No, no, no. Oh, that's not bad.
Then he transfers the face to the painting and begins to erase the background. After resizing the cat's face, he works painstakingly to get the shading just right. The payoff is an original twist on an often classic piece of art.
Franny has a beautiful Roman nose.
Faith Sauvage is a former cat breeder with 7 Cornish Rex of her own. She's happy to have David photograph her cats because she's such a fan of his work.
You look at this painting and you first say, it's very familiar. And then you say, wait a minute, I just saw a cat there. That's really odd. And I like that surprise. I think it's really fun.
Fun is the whole point. Whether he's snapping their pictures, enhancing their whiskers on a painting, or petting their luxurious soft coats, David simply gets a kick out of these odd-looking cats.
They are the best thing since sliced bread. I can't imagine being without them.
But like all cat owners, David did have to say goodbye to one of his. Oswald was Wilfred's first playmate, and he suddenly took ill.
Oswald was a bit like Merlin in a way. He was a sweet little thing. It's very sad because you get so fond of these animals. I mean, come like your children.
And they live on in his paintings. David hopes his work might someday be the focus of a book, but if it doesn't happen, he's quite content creating a world where Cornish Rex get the acclaim he believes they deserve.
What do you think? Think it's good?
If you think a Cornish Rex might be right for you, keep these things in mind. Despite occasional heart and thyroid problems, the aristocratic-looking feline usually has a long lifespan. Some live into their 20s. You can groom their ultra-soft coats with just your hands. While most cats groom themselves daily and rarely need a bath, there are some exceptions. If your cat has fleas or is older and can no longer reach certain places while grooming, a bath is a good idea. And the Cornish Rex needs them regularly because they don't have an outer coat to absorb natural oils.
You may even have to bathe them weekly if you have this greasy syndrome.
But as a family pet, this extroverted kitty is playful, sociable, and fun-loving. Just make sure you have enough energy to keep up with them.
I once heard pandemonium described as a ball, a staircase, and 5 Cornish Rex.
So in general, the Cornish Rex is a healthy cat with a long lifespan. They're easy to groom, but may need more bathing than other cats. In a family, this strictly indoor kitty is affectionate and loving, but can be a high-energy pet. If you're searching for a really unusual-looking cat who can behave like a playful pup, the Cornish Rex may be just the breed for you. David Nutter hopes his Cornish Rex masterpieces stand the test of time. It's not such a stretch. Felines have graced works of art for centuries. As far back as ancient Egypt, artists have found cats inspirational subjects. Da Vinci drew studies of cats, as did master Japanese printmaker Utagawa Kuniyoshi in the 1800s. And Goya, Manet, and Cassatt have painted the feline for posterity. But don't be surprised by an unpredictable puss. They might just turn tail and create art of their own. This wild cat, an ocelot in the Phoenix Zoo named Padfoot, makes his masterpieces by spreading non-toxic paints with his head and neck. Look, Ma, no paws. Henry, the feline fiber artist from Maine, has exhibited his modern works. Henry's mom, Anita McCormick, discovered his talents when she tried to persuade him to take his artistic frustrations out on something other than the furniture. She bought some carpet remnants, and Henry found his medium.
He's always enjoyed it, and I'm trying to find different colors and different textures for him to work with.
Like other great artists, Henry practices his craft daily, and each piece takes several months to complete.
People are at first surprised the cat has made these pieces, but then when they stop to think about it, they might have some art in their own home if they have a cat. Cats make art on anything they can get their claws in, basically.
Today, he shares his second exhibition with Anita, an artist in her own right, at the public library. And the critics are all saying it's perfection.
Henry has become a recognized fiber artist as opposed to a cat who destroys his home.
And now for the pièce de résistance, Nora the Piano Cat. The Times of London has described her playing as halfway between Philip Glass and free jazz. A Lithuanian composer is currently crafting an orchestral piece around Nora's freeform performances. She even has an agent.
Nora was sitting on the piano bench with her paws up on the keys in perfect posture, going bum, 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 bum.
But like Henry the fiber artist, Nora takes her inspiration from closer to home. She lives with Betsy Alexander, a musician and piano teacher.
I think she watched me with the students. And since Nora was down here observing that every day, I think she thought to herself, how can I get this kind of attention from Betsy? Look at those kids getting all that attention.
Nora is a perfect talent and has many requests for performances, but like most cats, Nora does not like to travel.
Nora is a studio musician, like Enya. So if you want to see Nora play live, you have to come to her.
Whoa, is this a wild cat?
The Ocicat is not a descendant of the ocelot. It's not a wild cat, it's 100% domestic.
So the Ocicat is not really bred from wild cats, but they sure look like they'd be more comfortable in a jungle than your living room. Ocicats resemble ocelots, an endangered wild cat that ranges from southwestern Texas to Argentina. The Ocicat is the first purely domestic feline bred to resemble a wild cat. The first Ocicat was actually developed by accident in 1964 when a breeder crossed Siamese cats with Abyssinians. The idea was to create an Abyssinian pointed Siamese. Instead, the breeder was shocked to find a litter containing an ivory-colored spotted kitten.
And when she saw the kittens, she said Ocicat because she named it after an ocelot.
The American Shorthair was added to the breeding line. Shorthair influence produced silver-colored coats, which gave Ocicats a large, more muscular body. The result is a kitty that looks like it stepped out of the wild. The most distinctive Ocicat trait is that spotted coat. It comes in a multitude of color varieties, including tawny, chocolate, cinnamon, blue, lavender, fawn, and 6 shades of silver. Thanks to the American Shorthair, this is one robustly built kitty cat.
They're big, boned, they're strong.
The Ocicat's long, sleek body completes the package of a house cat gone wild.
They do, in a lot of ways, have sort of a wildcat temperament.
Now, we all know from cartoons like Sylvester and Tweety that to a cat, a bird is a tasty entree. So a cat this wild-looking should probably be kept away from smaller feathered pets, right? Well, a pair of best buds are proving that wrong. Meet Moonbeam, the Ocicat, and Rico, the parrot.
Moonbeam and Rico have a very special bond. It does seem a little odd, but they seem to love each other a lot.
Give him a kiss, kiss.
Moonbeam had been a part of Andrea Bedell's house for 4 years before Rico the parrot arrived on the scene. But from day one, the two were inseparable.
They were best friends right from the beginning.
The Ocicat has one of the highest prey drives of any domestic cat. But instead of seeing Rico as lunch, Moonbeam seemed to draw comfort from his feathery best friend.
They seek each other out. The bird frequently will go down off his cage and go over and, play with the cat on his own.
As unusual as this odd couple is, they've never given Andrea a reason to worry.
I never even thought about there being a problem with one being a cat and one being a bird. It didn't cross my mind.
But every couple of months, Andrea puts the friendship and the natural instincts of an Ocicat to the maximum test. It's time for a visit to the vet. Rico and Moonbeam go to the vet together, so Andrea packs bird and cat into the car. Oh, did we mention they ride in the same carrying case?
I just tried it one time. I needed to take the bird too, so I stuck the bird in the cage and went to the vet.
But this isn't just an interspecies carpooling stunt. Moonbeam doesn't like going to the vet. In fact, when left in the case alone, Moonbeam will use his Ocicat athleticism to escape. But having his friend Rico by his side makes these checkups a little easier for the Ocicat.
When I take the cat by himself, he's sort of uptight. I put Rico in there with him. They're both just relaxed and calm.
Do you have Rico and Moonbeam with you?
Rico and Moonbeam here for their checkup.
Okay.
This is definitely one of the oddest things that I've seen as a veterinarian. The nurses definitely get a kick. They ooh and all over it.
Oh my goodness! So they just sit in there together? That is so neat.
I was really shocked. I'm used to a cat trying to attack a bird.
Bye.
Some may think Andrea is tempting fate by putting bird and cat in such close proximity. But this odd couple has made believers out of Dr. Gross and his staff.
I think it's very remarkable. I would encourage cat and bird interrelationships.
One might be a bird and the other a cat, but Rico and Moonbeam see themselves as family.
I feel like Moonbeam accepts Rico as just being a part of the family, and I think the bird feels the same way.
Not every Ocicat will seek out a feathered friend. In fact, they're probably still more likely to chase birds than befriend them. In general, this is a wonderful family pet, but Ocicats do demand plenty of attention. Ocicats are fairly healthy, but they do have occasional teeth and gum problems.
They are prone to getting gingivitis, which is preventable if you brush their teeth.
This is a low-shedding cat that requires only occasional brushing.
They're very much sort of self-maintenance type cats.
Generally, this breed is very healthy, except for some dental issues. Grooming is minimal, and it's not a heavy-shedding cat. Ocicats are social, bond well to families, and will do best in a lively household. A cat that can jump 7 feet in the air? Someone get the Serengeti a shoe contract.
I think that's about as tall as Shaquille O'Neal, so that's pretty tall.
Not surprisingly, this fantastic jumper is blessed with the longest legs of any fully domesticated cat.
The Serengeti kind of reminds me of Charlize Theron. Very beautiful, very long-legged.
The most prominent feature of the breed? Those incredibly long legs. The Serengeti's head is often dwarfed by their rather large ears. They sit upright and rounded on the top of their head, giving them a look of heightened alertness.
Really big ears. I mean, just giant ears.
Their coat carries a bold, spotted pattern.
The Serengeti is a cat that should have distinct spots, very much like a leopard cat. The shaft of their fur or their hair is translucent, so when seen from far away, they seem to shimmer.
But the Serengeti's true look might not yet be fully realized. This is Karen Sussman and her 10-year-old Serengeti, Sophie.
You good girl?
Karen knows a thing or two about Serengetis and how they should behave. After all, she created the breed back in 1994. Her journey started here at the Living Desert, a botanical and wild animal reserve that promotes desert conservation. During her time as president at Living Desert, Karen developed a deep admiration for the serval cat.
They're fabulous in and of themselves to watch, and they're very interactive.
The serval is a medium-sized African wildcat that sports large upright ears, long legs, and a clear spotted coat. Karen had lots of experience as a cat breeder. Using this experience, she set out to create a new breed of domestic cat that could emulate the serval's wild look without wildcat blood.
I love sharing my life with domestic animals, but I also had this beautiful vision. And as a geneticist, I felt like I could create a special cat.
Registering a name is the first step when creating a breed. Karen named it after the serval's natural habitat, the Serengeti.
It seemed to capture, with one word, a visual statement of what I was trying to do.
Next, Karen selected the breeds that could create her dream cat.
I selected Bengal for the weight of the body and the clarity of the coat.
For a second breed, Karen primarily researched shorthair cats that typically had long legs and large ears. She settled on the Oriental Shorthair.
Because they did come in spotted cats, but they're very refined.
Next, she needed to make sure that her breeding stock had both good temperament and good health. She started by visiting breeders that she knew personally.
You're responsible for bringing live animals into this world, and it's critical that those animals be healthy.
Karen then gave each potential candidate ultrasounds and cardiac tests, and followed up with a check for any hereditary ailments.
Many generations go into creating a breed, particularly a healthy breed.
So how did she create this breed over several generations? In the first few litters, Karen selected 1 or 2 kittens with the strongest traits to continue breeding with. Whatever they lacked was supplemented by breeding them with either a Bengal or an Oriental.
It's sort of painting with genetic material generation after generation.
This selective breeding is how most cat breeds develop. As the litters continue, the Serengetis with the strongest traits would be bred together. To avoid inbreeding, they had to be 5 generations separated from a common relative. Serengeti kittens not selected for the breeding cycle were adopted by welcoming homes. 4 years and about 10 litters after she started, Karen found her first true Serengeti.
Safi, for me, was the first cat that said, Karen, you actually might be able to do this.
Before Safi, Karen estimated that 33% of litters had enough of the desired Serengeti qualities to go back into the breeding cycle. Since Safi's inclusion into the breed, that percentage has increased to somewhere between 60 and 80%.
You're never quite sure whether it's just a daydream. And when Safi came along, the daydream became real.
As a result, the breed has grown at a large rate. According to leading cat registries, approximately 16 breeders have produced almost 900 Serengeti kittens.
Actually, I feel like I'm still a very long way from creating that cat that I can see in my mind. There's always something to strive for.
But until then, she'll always have Safi, the one who helped her realize it could happen.
She will stay with me always because she was the first cat that really sort of said Serengeti.
The Chartreux is one of the oldest and most cherished of French breeds.
They're a French national symbol, even so much as to be owned by President de Gaulle himself. Vive la France.
Charles de Gaulle's Chartreux was named Gris-Gris and would follow him from room to room. But this French connection goes even further back than de Gaulle. In 1747, French master Jean-Baptiste Perronneau painted a Chartreux sitting with a French aristocrat. And today, the French Canadians love them too.
It's actually the official cat of the Montreux Jazz Festival.
These cats are more than just musical mascots. They're smart.
The Chartreux is a very intelligent cat. They've been known to work buttons, alarm clocks, get latches open because they're so intelligent.
Legends abound on the origin of the Chartreux, but all roads lead to the French Carthusian monks.
But they are almost monk-like. They're very, very quiet.
In fact, they're so quiet, some say those same monks imposed their vows of silence on the Chartreux. Shh. While with the monks, these cats were known as great rat hunters.
They were hunters from France, and so they're very muscular. It's a very rare breed. The cat is even rare in France, where it originated from.
It's probably easier finding an authentic French restaurant in your hometown than finding a Chartreux breeder here in the States. They are so rare that some people confuse the Chartreux with the British Shorthair.
They kind of look like British Shorthairs, except that their faces aren't as round. They're not as extreme looking. The British Shorthair has very, very chubby cheeks, and the Chartreux not as much.
But like the British Shorthair, the Chartreux has a distinctive smile.
They're one of 2 other cats, the Chartreux, the Karat, and the Russian Blue, which are all considered gray cats. They don't come in any other color but the beautiful gray, blue, silver.
It's this blue-gray coat that clearly defines the Chartreux. And each Chartreux has stunning copper-to-gold colored eyes. And behind those eyes lies an empathetic and loving personality. The Chartreux is the type of cat you can tell all your secrets to.
Oh, that's sweet, baby.
And Chantilly is just such a cat. When home, Chantilly gets all the love in the world from her parents, Sandra and Jamie.
Absolutely, I love her, I adore her.
And Chantilly can't get enough of the good life. The Chartreux earns her keep by helping Sandra as a therapy cat. Sandra is a licensed social worker who helps people with problems ranging from anxiety to substance abuse. Each day, Sandra and her husband Jamie, who manages the office, take Chantilly to work. Her job there is to comfort Sandra's clients. She does this by sitting on their laps or snuggling up next to them during their sessions. All the while, the patients pet or just hold her. Sandra believes that Chantilly calms and relaxes her clients.
There's just something about petting the cat that's very relaxing.
And by putting them at ease, they are more willing to open up and discuss important and sensitive issues.
When the clients are more open, they're more comfortable to talk. They feel like they're in a safe place.
Sandra's clients agree.
I love her eyes. It just seems like she can look into your eyes and she just tells you that you're gonna make it and it's gonna be okay.
Once the session starts, and she'll come over and kind of relaxes your mind and gets you through some hard times.
Some of Sandra's clients who are initially scared about coming to therapy find Chantilly helps them come back.
I was very apprehensive when I first started therapy, and Chantilly has really helped me out with that. I feel that I've come further, faster, with the aid of Chantilly.
Chantilly's charms extend beyond one-on-one sessions to many different types of group therapy.
She hears group gathering. She will run to the group room door and scratch on the group room door so she can get in with the group.
Michelle has been a member of one of Sandra's therapy groups for over a year.
I don't feel afraid to be happy, sad, vulnerable, cry in front of my group members. And I believe she helps everyone else open up as well. So as a whole, I think Chantilly has been an excellent asset to the group.
And when the day is over and Sandra and Jamie head home, they know pampering Chantilly is just a way of giving back to a cat who is giving so much to so many. Chantilly is like most Chartreux, a loving and loyal companion willing to make friends with anybody.
A Chartreux type cat is a very playful, almost dog of a cat.
It's not going to be in your face. It loves children, but it's also going to stand back and it's going to look at a whole situation. So it's going to be loyal, but it's also going to be very independent.
These qualities make the Chartreux a good cat for a family with children or other pets. They're also a very healthy cat.
The Chartreux is a healthy breed of cat. They do have the luxating kneecap that rides in and out, but besides that, they don't have a lot of genetic defects.
The Chartreux's thick double coat makes its fur almost waterproof, so grooming a Chartreux does take extra time. Once a week keeps them looking fabulous. In summary, some Chartreux suffer from luxating kneecap, however, they are generally very healthy. Grooming may take some extra time because of their thick double coat. And they're good family pets because they interact well with children and even other pets.